Graphing quadratic functions. Okay, the standard form of a quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c, okay, where a does not equal 0. A cannot equal 0. It looks like a parabola, which I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute. Okay, but that's what it looks like. All right, that's the shape of it. That's what they call a shape. Axis symmetry. Right? To find the axis symmetry, you take negative b over 2a. That will give you like a line. It's axis symmetry is a line that cuts it in half. Okay, where it's equal on both sides. Okay, this is the formula to get the axis symmetry. X equals negative b over 2a. The y-intercept is c. So the number by itself in this equation, okay, is your y-intercept. Your vertex is either going to be a minimum or maximum, depending on if it's upside down or if it's right side up. If it's right side up, then your vertex is going to be a minimum. Your vertex is where it crosses the axis symmetry. All right, so go ahead and write this down and draw it in your notes. This is a parabola. This is what ax squared plus bx plus c equals. And these are the characteristics of the vertex is xy. That's the point where it crosses the axis symmetry. Axis symmetry, you can see, is a line that divides it right in half. C is your y-intercept. That's where it's crossing the y-axis. And this is what it looks like. Alright, so some of your problems are going to ask you to find the vertex, the equation of the axis symmetry, and the y-intercept of each function. Alright, so go ahead and draw this in your homework. Write vertex, axis symmetry, and y-intercept. Alright, and we're going to find those. Vertex, okay, that's the point down at the bottom of the U shape. The vertex here, right there, which would be negative 1, 0. The axis of symmetry, it's x equals negative 1. Okay, that is the axis symmetry. It splits it in half. Axis symmetry is just where it's equal on both sides. The y-intercept is 1 because it crosses right there.
Would it be negative 1?
No, because it crosses at the positive 1.
Oh, okay.
Right. Alright, go ahead and draw this one. Okay, and go ahead and label the vertex, the axis, the symmetry, and the y-intercept on your own. The vertex. Okay, what did you have for your vertex? Someone raise your hand.
2, 3.
There he is. 2, 3. Because here's our vertex. Someone raise your hand, tell me the axis symmetry. X equals what?
2.
Jacob? 2. Y-intercept. Someone raise your hand, tell me. Cameron.
Negative 1.
It is negative 1. Because it's right here.
Very well. I have my hand up at 0.
It's okay. Alright, write this down. Instead of giving you a graph, they just give you the equation. So you need to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the y-intercept. So write this down. We will find those in a second. Alright, so we have y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 3. We need to find the vertex, the axis symmetry, and the y-intercept. The easiest one to find first is the y-intercept. Someone raise your hand and tell me what it is. Negative 3. Thank you for raising your hand. Axis of symmetry. Okay, we have to find it first before we can find our vertex. Now, the axis of symmetry formula was negative b over 2a. Everybody remember that? Okay. So, someone tell me what my b is. Raise your hand and tell me what I should put in for b. Cameron?
4.
4. 2 times a, which would be 2. 2 times 2, which is 4, right? What's negative 4 divided by 4?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So my axis symmetry, x equals negative 1. Anyone have any idea how I would find my vertex? Cameron? How would I find my vertex? You know your axis symmetry, okay, is at -1, right?
Yeah.
Well, so isn't your vertex at -1 for your x coordinate as well? So what I can do is I can plug in -1 in for x. Everywhere you see x, you write in -1. So -1 squared is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times -1 is -4 minus 3. So my vertex is at -1, -5. Because 2 minus 4 is -2. -2 minus 3 is -5. So I could graph that if I had to. Alright, go to -1, -5. There would be my vertex. That's also my axis symmetry. My y-intercept's at -3. There you go. You'll see. Alright, so you need to do this. Y equals -x squared plus 6x plus 4. We need to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the y-intercept. Alright, so easiest one to find is y-intercept. Someone raise your hand. Tell me what my y-intercept is. Jordan. 4. It is the number by itself. Axis symmetry. We take -b over 2a. -b is 6. There is no a. I mean, a is -1. Alright, so 2 times -1. So -6 divided by -2 is 3. X equals 3. So what I do is I plug in 3 for my x's. So 3 squared plus 3 times 6 plus 4. 3 times 3 is 9. That makes that -9. Plus 18 plus 4. So we've got 9 plus 4, which is 13. So 3, 13. That is my vertex. My y-intercept's 4. My axis symmetry is 3. Easy enough, right? Alright, write this down. Okay, this is telling you maximum and minimum values. It says when a is positive, you get a minimum. Because when a is positive, you have a right side up u. When a is negative, you have a maximum. Your vertex is a maximum, meaning it's the highest point, okay, because it's an upside down u. It'll give you this. It'll say consider a function. This is f of x equals -2x. -2x squared minus 4x plus 6. You need to know, is it going to have a maximum or a minimum? What is the maximum? And it also asks you to find the domain and range. The first thing we need to do, we need to figure out, does this have a maximum or minimum?
Maximum.
It has a maximum because if you look, when a is negative, which it is here, it's -2, we have a maximum because it opens upside down. So that means the vertex is going to be a maximum point. Now we need to find the max. Okay? What we do, we find our x coordinate first by using the formula for axis of symmetry, which is -b over 2a. So -4 over 2 times -2. That would give you -1. Because 4 divided by -4 is -1. Then what we do is we take -1 and we plug it in for x. So -1 times -1, is 1, right? So negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. So negative 2 plus 4 plus 6 give you 8. So our max here is negative 1, 8. It's as high as it will go. Negative 2 times positive 1.
I thought it was negative 1.
Negative 1 times negative 1, it's 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is... Yeah, that's why it's x squared. Yeah. So you need to find your domain and range. All right. So if it goes like this, okay, which, okay, that's the x and y intercepts, or that's just on a graph. What will my domain be? What numbers of the x coordinates are included here? Does it limit you to any of them? No. Okay. Because eventually it will keep opening up and opening up. So our domain is all numbers. Okay. Our range. What would be our range here? Someone think about it. What is included? Okay. And what's not included in the y coordinates? No. 1 right here, that would be included, right? Doesn't it cross negative? Doesn't it cross 1? 7, which would be right here. Doesn't it cross?
20.
Hey, 20 would not be included, right? Because the farthest it up it goes is what?
Oh, yeah, 8.
8, right? So 9, 10, 11, 12, those aren't included. So my range would say y, right? It's anything less than or equal to 8.
But how do we know we got 7?
Because is 7 less than or equal to 8?
Yes. No. How do you know that 7? Why isn't that? Negative 1, 8. Oh, we already added that? Oh,
Okay. Negative 1, 8. That's our maximum, right? So 8's the biggest y coordinate we can have, right?
yeah.
Can we have a 7?
Yeah.
Can we have a 6?
Yes.
Can we have a negative 1?
Yeah.
Can we have a negative 50?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, eventually it will go down to negative 50, won't it?
Said no.
Okay, because it keeps going down, right? That's what it looks like. So y can be anything greater than or equal to 8. So this is our domain and range right here. Domain is all real numbers. Our range is y is anything less than or equal to 8. Alright, these are the steps of graphing when you're graphing quadratic equations. First thing you do is find the axis symmetry. Number 2, you're supposed to find, not rind, the vertex max or minimum. So, next thing you do is find the y-intercept. After that, you use the symmetry to draw it and connect the points.
Yeah.
Alright, so write this down. We're going to graph the function f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 3. Alright, the first step was I need to find the equation of the axis of symmetry. So, remember our formula from yesterday, x equals negative b over 2a. Okay, so b is 4, my 2 is 1, or my a is 1. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Alright, we found the axis symmetry. So I can draw an imaginary line at negative 2. That's my axis of symmetry right there. Next thing I need to do, if you look on your steps, you need to find the vertex. So what I do is I take negative 2 and I plug it in for x. That will give me my y. So negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So my x coordinate is negative 2. My y is negative 1. So I can put a dot at negative 2, negative 1. Right there. Now you look at your next step. It says find the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is c. C is the number by itself, which is 3. So my y-intercept is at 3. The next step is to use symmetry to find additional points. Okay, we're going to use symmetry. So if I have a dot right here, I need a dot on the other side, okay, that looks exactly like it. So I'm 2 spaces away from the axis symmetry, so I need to go 2 spaces to the other side. So I need a dot right there. Now I can connect the points with a smooth curve. So this is one side, that's the other side, and there's my graph. Alright, we need to graph the function f of x equals negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 1. So first thing I do is find my axis symmetry, which is negative b over 2a. B is 2, my a is negative 2. So negative 2 divided by negative 4, my axis symmetry is negative 1 over 2. Whoa. No, it's positive, sorry. Yep. It's 1/2. My axis symmetry is 1/2. So I draw a line at the half point, which is in between 0 and 1. Okay, so it should be right down the middle, right there. That's my axis symmetry. Now I need to find my y-intercept. So what I do is I plug in half for x. So negative 2 times a half squared plus 2 times a half minus 1. A half squared is 1/4. So negative 2 times a fourth plus a half of 2, which is 1, minus 1. They're going to cancel each other out. Negative 2 times 1/4 is the same thing as negative 2 divided by 4. So that would give you negative 1/2. So my coordinate is at a half and negative a half. So a half and negative 1/2. You guys be quiet. Now, the next thing I need to do, find my y-intercept. My y-intercept is at 1. So right there. So I need a y-intercept right here. Or so I need to use symmetry to put it on the other side of the axis symmetry. Now I just connect the dots. There you go. You know that A was negative, so you know it has to go upside down.
Wait, so why isn't 1 negative? What?
Let's do this one. F of x equals 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. F of x equals 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. First thing I need to do is find my axis of symmetry. So negative b over 2a. Negative 6 over 2 times 3. So x equals 1. Alright, so my axis here is at 1. I plug 1 in, I find my y coordinate, I find my vertex. 3 times 1 squared is 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2. So 5 minus 6 is negative 1. So my vertex is at 1, negative 1.
What? Oh, okay.
Now what I've been forgetting is you're supposed to determine whether it's a maximum or minimum. Okay, since A is positive, it's going to be a minimum. No, you just know when you find your vertex, is that going to be a maximum or a minimum? Well, if A is positive, then it's a minimum because this goes up. If A is negative, it goes down. So the problem we just did before, it was a maximum because of the highest point. Next thing we do is find the y-intercept, which is at 2. So I need to draw a point that is symmetrical to that. Then I just graph. Okay. Now it's supposed to look similar, and that's good enough for me.
So we need to, in order to do this, we need to find the axis.
Alright, f of x equals negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. First thing you do is find the axis of symmetry, which is negative 2b, or negative b, sorry, over 2a. Please pay attention. That's why you don't know how to find it. Negative 4 divided by negative 4, x equals 1. So I need to draw my axis symmetry at 1. Then I find my vertex, so I plug 1 in for x. X squared, 1 squared will be 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Plus 4 minus plus 1 would give me a y coordinate. Where did I get what? Plus 1 from the equation. So it would be 3. That's my vertex, Shang. Now, I'm supposed to determine whether this is a maximum or minimum. A is negative, so it's going to be a maximum because we're going down. I look, my y-intercept is at 1, so I go one step away from the axis symmetry on the other side. I make them symmetrical, and then I draw it. There we go. That is all you have to do. Here's your assignment.